Less than a year ago, you might have purchased the Nokia Lumia 920 or the Lumia 928. Now, Nokia has a phone that's better than both of them, the Nokia 1020. But the question is it better enough to make you upgrade this early? I'm Andrew with MobileBurn.com just to see how upgrade worthy is the Nokia Lumia 1020. Nokia was nice enough to simplify the spec showdown because there are a lot of similarities across the board between them. 4.5-inch display, 4.5-inch display, 4.5-inch display, 2000 milliamp battery, 2000 milliamp battery, 2000 milliamp battery. So there are a lot of commonalities between them. In terms of the processor, they all have a 1.5 gigahertz processor and they're all running Windows Phone 8. But there are some differences between them. For instance, in the display category, the Nokia Lumia 920 is an LCD display, and they all have the same resolution, but the colors on the 920 look a little bit better to me. On the 928 and the 1020, they're AMOLED. They're still good, but they're not quite the same and they're not as color accurate. Sometimes they might seem a little off or a little darker than they should in tone, but still they're quality displays with high resolutions. So in terms of screen, I'd say that the 920 is the best screen. So if you have that, you have the best screen at the moment of the Lumia devices. But the difference between them is not so bad that I'd take points off for the 1020. I'd still say that this is more than capable of being a good screen for you. The Lumia 920 and 928 tend to deliver similar performance because they have the same amount of RAM, the same processor. With the 1020, you actually get an upgrade in RAM to 2 gigabytes, but that's mainly because of the camera. They needed to allocate more memory to handle all of the things going on with the PureView camera. In terms of real life benefits that you see, they're very marginal. It's a slight upgrade in terms of speed and loading time, but you pretty much won't even notice it because it's going to be a very small difference between the two. Because remember, Windows Phone 8 was pretty fast to begin with, pretty much lag free. There's some apps that take a long time and then they give you that loading screen for a while, but otherwise you should get performance from a decent performance from any of these devices. So that's not really a reason to upgrade. Some people may choose not to upgrade at all because you actually lose a couple of things when you switch to a 1020. For instance, wireless charging, you can do them natively on either of these devices, but not on a 1020. You actually need to put a latch-on case, which kind of defeats the purpose because, as you can tell, this is a formidable phone on its own, so adding to the thickness isn't the best idea in the world. Another thing to consider is that the speaker is only on one side of the device here because of the USB port right here, and you actually have a little grip section for a lasso or a separately sold camera grip. You have to have this space right here, so you don't have speakers on both sides of the device. That is something you do get on the 920. So if that's a reason that you like the 920, it might be cause for you to not want to upgrade. On the 928, it's not an issue because they put the speaker in the back, but I'm not really a fan of the 928 speaker sound, so that's something to put aside. To be quite honest, I'm not too crazy about the overall design of the 928 to begin with. It's a little squarer, a little more boxy than you get with the 920 and the 1020. They also made some changes where the microphone, the USB jack is at the top, the headphone jack is at the top as well. With the 1020, you get something that's a little bit curvier. It is a little chunky at the top. Don't get me wrong about that. Because it's big camera housing, it affects the way you hold the device. You might have to cup it just below the camera housing. You might have to arc your finger over the top. Now, this is something I've gotten used to over the past couple of weeks, so it's not an issue for me. But overall, I'd say that the 920 has the best overall design because it's more comfortable to hold. It curves a little more, so it's more hand friendly. Obviously, the 1020 has a similar shape, but the camera housing makes a big difference in terms of the way that the phone feels in your hand. What it all boils down to is the camera. We just can't seem to escape the camera, and with the Lumia 1020, that is by design. Nokia even admits as much in its advertising. All roads lead back to the camera when it comes to the 1020, and the same is true when you decide whether or not it's time to upgrade. With both phones, you still get a quality image. You get 8.7 megapixel cameras on the back with flash, LED on the 920, and Xenon and LED on the 928. I've come around to Xenon Xenon's flash because even though originally I had a problem with the strange tints that it would put on certain skin tones, I've come to see that it does make a big difference in other aspects. So overall, I like the Xenon flash that you get. Now, with the 1020, you get Xenon flash for photos as well, and you get LED flash for video. And video and photos is where this really sets it apart. It's not just about that it has 41 megapixels, because remember, it's using oversampling. It's not just taking a giant picture all the time. The pictures that you share online will be of a quality image taking from the 1020, and it'll be easy to share. It'll be about 5 megapixels. You can see from the quality when you compare the three devices that the 1020 has the best camera of the bunch. It's pretty obvious, and that's something that you should have known from the beginning. The Lumia 1020 has some unique features like the ability to listen to FM radio. Now that's obviously a big plus, but it's something that you'll get on previous versions through an update from Nokia. The same can be said of the Pro camera, which really makes a difference in the type of photos you're able to capture with the Lumia 1020. It allows you to control things like brightness, white balance, exposure, ISO settings. So you can really set things to be auto or fine-tune the image just the way that you like it. So if you don't want to trust the default settings, you can get the picture to come up the way you like and take a picture just perfect. Now this is something that will come to the 920 and the 928, but at the same time, it won't have this giant sensor that's going to enable a lot of photos. And that's what it really boils down to, the camera. It doesn't take a genius to recognize that the Nokia Lumia 1020 is the best of the bunch that we've compared to date. But at the same time, our question is it better enough to upgrade so soon? You might have walked into a store less than a year ago to purchase the 920, and only a few months ago you purchased the 928. If you bought either device, it's very hard to convince yourself to upgrade so soon. But if you can convince yourself, the Lumia 1020 is worth it in terms of the upgrade you get in camera. The big drawback is that Nokia has already said they're going to release more phones in the fall, and the fall is only less than 2 months away. So if you can be patient and can wait, I'd advise waiting. If you absolutely need a phone today and you got the Lumia 920, which has served you faithfully for a while, I can say, maybe you should wait a little bit longer still. But if you absolutely convince yourself you need to go into a store tomorrow and buy the Nokia Lumia 1020, I can't fault you because you will get a significant upgrade in terms of camera capabilities. This is Andrew from MobileBurn.com comparing the Nokia Lumia 1020 with the Nokia Lumia 920 and the Nokia Lumia 928. Thanks for watching the video and hopefully you enjoyed it. If so, feel free to click like and subscribe.